us none of the abovers live in the real world. Only us none of the abovers are in our right minds. If you think that there's a new Hillary Clinton out there that's going to suddenly emerge, or that Donald Trump can pivot and be presidential, you're going to be disappointed, which of course helps explain how defensive and belligerent Trumplicans are, as well as Democrats, and there really isn't much difference between the two. You see, the Trump and Hillary Clinton you see are the ones you get. They're not capable of changing. They are who they are. And how two of the most unpopular, unqualified, unfit, and manifestly reprehensible pieces of human debris in American political history could have gotten both major party nominations in 2016 is a matter for study by psychiatrists more than historians. If you love Hillary Clinton, Jonah Goldberg, by the way, wrote about this last Friday at nationalreview.com. If you love Hillary Clinton just the way she is, you're in luck. If you adore Donald Trump, well, you should probably make an appointment with a psychiatrist. But if you do adore Trump and you don't ever want to see him change, congratulations, he's not capable of it. But if you're a passionate liberal who is sour on Mrs. Clinton and hoping that the real Hillary will break through, my advice to you is start drinking heavily. Likewise, if you're a committed and sincere conservative but just can't get your head around the excitement over Trump, I'm afraid to tell you, this is it. Visions of a mature, disciplined, and presidential Donald Trump are hallucinatory fantasies. Don't listen to the pundits and TV hosts asking, is this a new Hillary, or is this the Trump pivot we've been waiting for? You'll hear this in one form or another a gazillion times between now and Election Day. The political press wants drama, not just for ratings and readers, but for themselves as well. The prospect of this being as good as it gets is too depressing for them to contemplate, particularly given their complicity in delivering the choices before us. Let's start with Mrs. Clinton. DC reporters have been writing variations of the "Is this a new Hillary Clinton?" thumb sucker since she was first introduced to the American people 24 years ago. Interviews with potential voters show that Mrs. Clinton was unpopular in the role of chief policy advisor to her husband, the New York Times reported around the time of Bill Clinton's first inauguration. And in April 1992, the Clinton campaign set out to remake her image. Since then, Mrs. Clinton has had more costume changes than the cast of Cabaret. In no particular order, she's been a feminist heroine who scorns stay-at-home moms, standing by their man like Tammy Wynette, Mrs. Clinton spat in one interview. A stay-at-home mom herself. A modern-day Eleanor Roosevelt ideologue, a moderate, a centrist, a neocon, a martyred wife standing by her man, and last but not least, a communist. From her days as First Lady of Arkansas through her stint as a carpetbagging senator in New York, she's put on and taken off her maiden name more often than her husband removes his wedding ring. The problem goes deeper than that, though. Mrs. Clinton and her retinue have struggled to convince voters that she's even human. Back in the 1992 race, Clinton pollsters devised strategies to humanize her and make her seem more warm and maternal. New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd wrote in 2007. 15 years later, her campaign is devising strategies to humanize her and make her seem more warm and maternal. It's kind of hard to do for a Komodo dragon. In 1995, Mrs. Clinton's advisors wanted her to go on the sitcom Home Improvement in order to humanize her. In 2015, her advisors told the Times her emails might help to humanize her because some of them mentioned TV shows she likes. Think about it. La Clinton Nostra has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on campaigns since 1992, and they're still trying to convince the public that Hillary is of the species Homo sapiens. Trump doesn't have the same problem. He's all too human in all the worst ways and senses. One of the funniest parts of the spectacle is that the Trump campaign has been watching many of his biggest boosters talk about him like he's a troubled teenager or an abusive spouse. He'll get his act together. He can change. Deep down, he's good. And most often, he can be presidential. Even Trump gets in on that fraud. I'm like a really smart person. Being presidential is easy, he says, as if he were an adolescent.